You could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Real wrath of God type stuff. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Well, no, listen, I'm telling you what, I've not gotten used to this. I've not gotten used to this whole new format thing. Listen, we tried to do it last week. We did try to do it last week. And sure enough, Art, is that his government name? I don't know what the hell his government name is, but Art, I thought was going to start doing things last week. But you know what the cool thing is that I found out that Art, if that's his real name, it's kind of like Jack Smith, right? You know the whole Trump thing, Jack Smith, if that's his real name. No, but I'm telling you what, Art said that he graduated from here, the University of Richmond. That's where we're broadcasting out of, from the beautiful campus here at the University of Richmond. Once again, broadcasting live here on the only award-winning radio show. Award-winning. You know, I say that intentionally. You know, I know there are people out there that sit there and say, well, this is the best radio show on God's green earth. Oh, of course, what I do is that I make sure that, well, this is the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting Rockwell. NewsMan, this is Saturday morning. Yes, I want to thank everyone, of course, for watching in. We got the Sam Cams up live and running over here. The Sam Cam's live up on Instagram. I think, yeah, is that what it is? So, oh no, Instagram's over here. So we got Instagram, we got Facebook, YouTube, and X. People are still confused whether or not they want to call it Twitter. I think if you go to twitter.com, it still pulls up X. So that's a valid discussion, a valid argument whether or not that, do we still call it Twitter? Do we still call it X? I see Daredevil in the chat. I see, who else do I see? I see Lord NYX. I see Big M, DFS. First Sir was Big M. I see First Sir. You know what First Sir is all about? Did I ever tell you about that? You know, so here's the deal. We're going to eventually move, you know, once we start getting commercial and we're on commercial basis. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Pause. Pump the brakes. I have Storm Blessed Farms. Shout out to Storm Blessed Farms. Storm Blessed Farms. You know, the thing about Storm Blessed Farms is that he understands when I say that 710 is the new 420. Not that many people understand what I mean when I say that. So shout out to all of you guys in the chat. I say it's the chat, but the reason why is because we do have the interactive chat. Well, and then, of course, you have this, of course, my beautiful puppet voice broadcasting on the radio airwaves. I'm sure you probably are listening to it several ways. On an FM signal, WDCE 90.1 FM. You can hear my beautiful puppet voice, but then you might be thinking, well, Sam, I can't hear you because I'm not in Richmond. Hello, White Vegeta. Also, M_Toys C. Seeing that you guys have joined. Ash Bailey. I'm going to try to start shouting out people as I see them join in. If my, so long as the producers are letting me see who's joining in. Interactive show that we have here going on. Setting the standard, raising the bar. Once again, the only award-winning radio show on Saturday morning. But here we have, of course, people joining in. They're chatting and, you know, and everything is going along the way. But one of the things is that when we get a little bit more commercially based, if you will, once we get a little bit more commercially based, I think the people who end up saying First Sir in the chat, maybe they might get a little something. Maybe, I don't know. Well, we got to see what it is. No, hell, I'm not going to give them the whole Ark of the Covenant. No, listen, they can't even handle that. No, they can't handle that. Yeah, listen, a bunch of Nazis and people in fake Jewish garb can't even handle that. Just watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, I can't give them the Ark of the Covenant. No, I'm just telling you right now. But people that sit there and they join in and they say, "First, sir." The reason why I say "first, sir," because you remember when you would used to go to what was it? The early days of the internet. Oh, HTML days. Yes, HTML script. Yes, you would go to HTML script-based websites, and then you would have an article or a video or something, and then you would scroll down, and then somebody in the comments would just say "first." That's all it was. First is, I think, the original internet troll. Yeah, just first. First, 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 first. Yeah, because you're not even saying anything. All you do is just sitting there tagging and be like, "Yo, I read this first." And I sit there and tagging it first. Yeah. No, I mean, but I think that that's the case, right? So in terms of first, I'm always like first, first, first. So anybody that says first, oh, that's great. But if you say first, sir, the reason why I say first, sir, is because one time I was sitting there trying to chat with the casual toy collector. That's 10:30 on Friday nights on YouTube. Adult show, by the way. But I sat there and I typed first one time, but instead of saying T, I said R because R is next to T on the keyboard. So I said "first, sir," and in big letters with an exclamation point, thinking I was typing the right thing. Well, I got these felt fingers over here. And so here I am. I typed "first, sir." And then, well, I was still first, but "first, sir" is, I guess, the new gag. So if you type "first, sir," if you're the first person in the chat, these are the new rules now. Make sure if you're the first person in chat, whether it's on here on Instagram or if it's over here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, make sure you type in "first, sir." If you type in "first, sir," I will shout you out. Big M was first, sir, today. Like I said, Ash Bailey, shout out to Ash Bailey. What is it? Mr. Melo, Mr. Meeflo, Mr. Meeflo, Dead Man. Happy Splatter Day to you, Dead Man. Splatter Day. Splatter Day is one of those things. Well, it is Saturday morning. Saturday morning, you go, you grab your action figures, your dolls. It's got cloth. It's already a doll. I don't care if it's 1/12 scale or not. It's still a doll. No. So you grab your dolls and you grab your action figures. But on a splatter day, what you do is you just sit there and you soak them in red dye. You soak them in red dye because it's time for splatter day. And what you do is you take photos of your figures and I guess what is it? We'd say horror, splattering horror. I guess photographs. So yeah, so just take a picture of your splattering toys or whatever, and just tag Toy Mercs at Toy Mercs at Toy Mercs. We're gonna find them, But make sure that if you're gonna do a Toy Mercs session, and you're gonna tag Toy Mercs at Toy Mercs. One of the things you need to do is you need to make sure that you go over to extremesets.com. The reason why is because extremesets.com, what they do is they have a bunch of cardboard. Yeah, I know that you that's their usual. Well, I got a bunch of cardboard myself, Sam, so I can do it myself. No, you can't do it like this. The guys over at extremesets.com, they're sitting there letting you know that if you use the code SKYDRO, SKYDRO, SKYDRO at extremesets.com, you'll be able to save is it 10%? 15%? Save 15. I don't how much is the percentage these days? Does the percentage even matter anymore? I do not know. I don't know, but I know that if you have GI Joes, there's only one other place that you might want to get some of your information. That's from Viper Island. I see Viper Island in the chat. No, I'm just telling you right now. So you have Viper Island, one of the premier GI Joe resources for news and information. Once again, SKYDRO, extremesets.com. You can save 15% when you use the code SKYDRO at extremesets.com. That's right. That's right. Dead Man says 15%. I don't know. It's all just getting confused. Why don't I have a Toy Mercs hat right now? I could just sit there. I could be doing all of these toy promos and I could have a Toy Mercs hat on, but I don't have a Toy Mercs hat on. I mean, I have this hat on, and that's okay. No, I have this hat on, and it's okay. But what if I had a Toy Mercs hat? Well, no, I know I see the ramen toy hat over there. I got the ramen toy hat. I need a Valaverse hat. Oh, maybe I should get a Skydro hat. SKYDRO at extremesets.com. SKYDRO at extremesets.com. And you will be able to save 15%. 15% on anything that you use there. Once again, Splatter Day at Toy Mercs, hashtag Splatter Day. Toy Mercs hat do exist. Okay, that's great. But you know what? If I'm going to sit there and continue to promote this on an FM broadcast signal and a bunch of like video things, well, how about you just send me one? You gonna send me one, Dead Man, or what? Oh, listen, God love you. You know what, Dead Man? I don't even know. He probably hasn't even slept yet, right? I mean, the guy is fueled by bourbon. No, listen, I tell you what, he's fueled by bourbon, and that's why Splatter Day is fueled by you. All of the people out there who want to have a cool picture that is posted, make sure that you tag Toy Mercs at Toy Mercs Splatter Day. You see what I did there, Dead Man? You see what I did there? I'm sitting there giving you promos. This is nothing more than a promo sesh. Can we just call the 10 o'clock hour is nothing more than this Sam just giving promos after promos after promos because people are showing up and they're bringing themselves up. Listen, do you have a business? Are you local? Toy Layer is local. Yeah. Community Thrift is local. Is there anybody else that's local that wants to sit there and just gets a random shout out just because you just show up in the chat? Damn, I mean, you know what? It's like, what are we doing here? God bless America. What's going to happen when we go commercial? Yeah. Then all these people are like, "Oh, Sam, why don't you say anything about me anymore?" It's because you're not paying me any advertising dollars. Might as well do this now on a college radio show, right? No. Trolling the masses every way that I know how to do. Yes, here on the only award winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. Yeah, so it is 10:18. Oh, you like that, Germ? You like how I did that? 10:18. 10:18 here on the 20th day of January in the year 2024. Would Newsman is what Ash Bailey says. Yeah, so it is 10:18 here on the East Coast. Was supposed to be 9:87, 7:18 on the West Coast. So I guess the thing is that once, all right, so here's what I'm thinking, everybody. You know, I can sit there and talk to you guys about this for a few minutes left. No, I'm going to sit there and we'll get to Deep Cut Dave on the other side of the break. We're going to talk about Sega. Yeah, are you familiar with Sega? Sega, Nintendo. So for the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about Sega video games. Well, next week is the Royal Rumble. But Sega video games, we'll talk about all of that. But one of the things that I want all of you guys to do is, in the meantime, go to @SamNewsMan, @SamNewsMan all over social media. I have to tell you this because it's important. Why is it important? Because that's how you're following me all over social media @SamNewsMan. There's not like a the Sam Newsman, the real Sam Newsman, or the Sam Newsman show, or the blah blah blah. No, it's just @SamNewsman all over social media. 9:19 Pacific. No, it's not 9:19 Pacific. It is 10:20 over here right now. It's not. You're not a 1 hour behind us, Dead Man. Jeez, what did you have last night? Whatever the heck he had. I want to make sure I have a glass of that after the show. It's 9:19. It's 10:20 here. That means it's not 9:20 there. Golly, can't even read the clock. If it's 10:20 here on the East Coast, Dead Man in the Pacific Northwest, that is 10:987, 7:20. 7:20 in the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. The reason why I'm just saying this People a long time ask, well, Sam, you have 2 hours on college radio, but now you have a third. Well, the reason why is because I have my listeners that are now starting to tune in earlier. So now there's 7, 8 o'clock. So then eventually when we get to commercial radio, I guess I think of what I should do. Maybe all of you guys, I think this is where I was going with this. Maybe I should just start at noon on Saturday afternoons. It'll be 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Could I still use the phrase, this is Saturday morning? Or do I have to start at 11? I have to start at 11 to do that? No, but I could sit there and still say, this is Saturday morning here on the East Coast. And people there on the West Coast would be like, it's 9 o'clock in LA. This is Saturday morning. No, pay no attention to the fact that I'm in Richmond, VA. No, that has nothing to do with it. Listen, I'm just, what? Well, I'm sitting there, I'm having a conversation with you guys about what we need to do and how we need to get. I know it's my radio show, but if it's my radio show and you guys, I know that everybody can't sit there and hear you guys on the other side of the glass. That is the whole point. But this is an open discussion. I mean, listen, these people are sitting there, they're here all in the chat, Facebook, YouTube, and X. They're all over here, over in what, Instagram land? I'm just having a conversation, and we're having a conversation. We're trying to set the standard and raise the bar. What the hell are we already doing? That's what we're doing. Good grief. 10:22. 10:22. Saturday morning vibes. Yeah, Saturday morning vibes. You know what Saturday morning vibes are all about? They're all about cartoons. They're all about toys. They're all about action figures, dolls. Oh no, it's 1/12 scale, but it has a cloth cape. Doll. I think Serpentor, classified Serpentor, doesn't he have a cloth cape? Doll. No, but seriously, Saturday morning vibes. What is Saturday morning all about? Viper Island sits there and says that in the chat. Saturday morning vibes is all about you on a Saturday morning, grabbing a sugary bowl of cereal, grabbing your action figures, grabbing your toys, sitting in front of the TV. You know, another thing that you would do is that you sometimes would play video games. Original G.I. Joe action figures. Original is the original action figure. You know what? That's a debate that we can have. Is the original G.I. Joe an action figure, or is it just a doll? I mean, I think that this could be the debate of 2024. Is the original G.I. Joe figure an action figure, or is it possibly a doll? I might have to get a panel. And we're going to have to do this. We're going to have a conversation in terms of G.I. Joe being either an action figure or a doll. I say that it's probably a doll. Why? Because it has cloth. The original G.I. Joe action figure, I know this is a hot take. This is a hot take here. We're only in the first month of 2024. I'm giving you a hot take. The original Joe is not an action figure. Hasbro mislabeled it. It's nothing more than a doll. It's a doll for boys. I'm going to say that we're going to get more into that here this year. It's an action doll, is what Ash Bailey said. An action doll. I love that. NBC wanted to push Conan's Tonight Show back to 2:30 a.m. the next day, is what. Well, you know what? You know what we're not putting back? We're not putting back Deep Cut Dave's segment. I got Deep Cut Dave coming up in about 10 minutes at, 10:35? Professor Deep Cut Dave. We're going to talk about Sega. We're a couple of weeks, we're going to have Sega. So a Royal Rumble next week, but we're going to have the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about Sega. Sega. And then maybe we'll move into the NES or Capcom. We'll move into something throughout this year. But we're going to have just a couple of weeks as we talk about Sega. And we're not even going to talk about the blue mascot. In fact, we can't even say the blue mascot's name. Reason why we can't say it, because it's like Voldemort. We'll just call him the blue mascot. Yeah, the blue mascot, the blue fast mascot. Can't say his name because we've got to wait till we get there. We talk about it. So that's Deep Cut Dave coming in on the other side of this break. I say this break because this break is actually just nothing more than a bunch of Sega jams that Deep Cut Dave has sent over. We're going to talk about them. But if you played Sega Genesis, if you played Sega back in the day, you might recognize some of these, but Deep Cut Dave Professor Deep Cut Dave. No, I mean, he's a real professor, taught at colleges and stuff. University professor, university professor, Deep Cut, tenured. Was he tenured in nostalgia? Gun it. That's what he's tenured in. Is nostalgia. Deep Cut Dave coming in and I'm going to be back here on the video. So we are going to be back here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and Instagram here in just a few moments. You'll be able to hear Deep Cut Dave. You'll be able to see my beautiful puppet face, as well as hear my beautiful puppet voice if you're here locally, listening on WDCE 90.1 FM. At Sam Newsman all over social media is where you're going to find me. Make sure you're sticking there. Download the Live 365 app. Search WDCE. You'll be able to listen to these Sega jams. These Sega jams that have been provided to us by Professor Deep Cut Dave. You're going to hear those in just a few moments. Shout out to the Bacta. I see White Vegeta, Skydra Walker. Guys, we're going to be back. Make sure you tell everybody we're here, setting the standard, raising the bar. Rye Bread 82, what's good? Sam, what's good with you? I'll tell you what's good. Listening to the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.